I'm sure we can all remember that perfect night's sleep, that night's sleep when you wake up feeling absolutely energized and ready to get on with your day. Now, most of us will not have this type of sleep anymore. It's something that I noticed fairly early on, where I was waking up and all of a sudden I'm not waking up with energy. Now, I thought this was normal. I thought, it's just a natural thing. You just get a worse and worse sleep every time. Maybe it's because I was doing more things. But then I find out I didn't know anything about sleep. I didn't understand how important it is and how to properly utilize techniques in order to improve it. And this is what I'm hoping to share with you. My name's Huey McDowell. I'm a current biomedicine student at the University of Western Australia, and I have a great passion for utilizing and learning tools to improve my daily life, which I want to share with you, because these tools, I've used all of them. That's why I'm telling you. And I've seen a dramatic increase in my life quality and my ability to perform on a daily basis, to which I want to share with you, because I think it's very important to trial things for yourself and have the ability to share things that work for you, to give other people a better idea of what they can do in their daily life to actually make a difference. Sorry, my cat. To actually make a difference in their daily life. So if you watch this video, I can promise you that you'll have a bunch of tools to not only improve the quality, the quantity, the efficiency of your sleep, but also just wake up fit with a better quality of life, being able to approach your day with more energy, better mental health, better strength, especially for those who like training, and just have a greater life in general. Not to even mention the longevity benefits of this, the reduction in chronic disease. And it may be, I hope it is, this video that allows you to go on a path to actually work out things for yourself and improve your life. Because improving the quality of your sleep improves your total life in general, because sleep is such a fundamental portion of your life. There are major characteristics that influence sleep. Most importantly, your circadian rhythm. Now, what is the circadian rhythm, you may ask? Is it just some random fucking bit of nomenclature that I'm just throwing at you for shits and gigs? No. Your circadian rhythm centers in your suprachiasmatic nucleus, which is connected to your melanopsin photoreceptors in your eyes. What does all this mean? It means that with light, when light enters your eyes, it travels down this to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, which sets your circadian rhythm for the day. Now, I'm going to elaborate on this now to not make it so confusing. Your circadian rhythm is your 24-hour cycle. Your body goes through in its entirety. If you didn't know, your body rotates all its functions on this 24-hour cycle, or around 24 hours if you're being specific, and it allows proper function of each and every one of your cells while maintaining their efficiency and regeneration of function as well. And that's where sleep factors into it. But more fundamentally, this clock needs external stimuli, things in your environment, to actually trigger it in order to have the cycle of your entire body moving. And this isn't some hippie bullshit. This is hard evidence-backed science, which Dr. Sama Hattar, Dr. Sachin Panda pioneer, as well as many other clinical researchers, and truly understand in terms of their effects on your health. Now, I'm going to break down the most important stimuli you need to be concerned about to actually optimally function the cycles of your body. The first one being sunlight. Now, sunlight's been demonized. I've actually made another video on sunlight talking about why it shouldn't be considered as bad as it is. But regardless of that, sunlight has a great effect on your circadian rhythm through what I mentioned before, your melanopsin photoreceptors in your eyes, which are located at the bottom of your eyes. I'll get into that later. At the start of the day, the sun rises and it's low in the sky. Now, this sunlight bounces off the certain ozone layers and atmospheric layers to produce different wavelengths of actual visible light. Now, that's why you may see the sun glowing red. Now, this is very important because that red light in the morning, or when the sun is low in the sky to around 10 a.m., this sunlight is at a different wavelength to when it is above you in the sky. Now, this lower wavelength in terms of blue light and more large wavelengths in terms of red light are at different ratios when it is lower in the sky. This is very important because when it is at these ratios where the blue light is at lower ratio and the red light is at higher ratio, this triggers your melanopsin photoreceptors to say, oh shit, it's morning. And what does that do? That travels into your brain, to your suprachiasmatic nucleus, and kickstarts your daily function. You get a cortisol spike, and your body begins to break down that adenosine, which is built up over the previous day and put you to sleep to begin with. Now, this is crucial in maintaining both your daily rhythms, but also your sleep rhythms later on. Because this kickstarts your brain into the function, it is important and crucial to get outside in the morning and get this morning light. To add to this, there is some interesting stuff which isn't to do with the photoreceptors, but to do with your circadian rhythm regarding grounding, which doesn't get talked about by normal mainstream doctors as much, even though the data is readily available. But grounding in the morning, which has been seen as some hippie shit over the years, it's not, it's firmly in the data, has been seen to alter the amount of electrons in your bloodstream and decoagulate your blood through electron exchange with the ground. And there's also some things to suggest that because the Earth, based on the day cycle, reflects different amounts of energy in terms of gravity and stuff like that throughout the day as it spins on its axis, there's some data to suggest it may have a role in affecting this circadian rhythm in terms of boosting your energy levels throughout the day and telling your brain what time of day it is. Now, this isn't 100% certain, but adding ground is a simple way to kickstart your day, as well as viewing that morning sunlight to get your body cycle running. Now, this has many downstream effects. Getting your daily 24-hour cycle running moves your daily rhythm slightly forward, meaning you'll feel like you want to get up earlier in the sun with the sunrise and have more energy levels when you wake up, because your circadian rhythm is set for that time when the sun has risen to when the sun goes down in the afternoon. Now, the afternoon sun is also low in the sky, so you may be wondering, does this affect your circadian rhythm as well? Now, this is 100% true. Getting afternoon sun actually, as I mentioned before, the morning sun shifts it forwards, your afternoon sun shifts it backwards. So this is quite interesting because it balances out your circadian rhythm and sets the in-between part of daylight as the main active part of the day, while getting that afternoon sun signals, oh, it's almost time for bed. So your body begins to wind down, melatonin gets produced for the 2 hours increasing after sunlight gone down without exposure to artificial light, which I'll get into. And that triggers you to wind down and want to go to sleep. So using light in this way will actually allow you to firmly cement your circadian rhythm. In my opinion, regardless of chronotype, which is the idea of night owls and early birds, even though some camp studies where they've taken people camping for a week or so sees a fair shift of around 2 hours in their circadian rhythms, given longer time, potentially moving these night owls all the way to early birds without exposure to artificial light, which at night actually triggers your melanopsin and tells your brain that it's still light and not to go to sleep or produce melatonin, which is, in my opinion, one of the major disruptors to our sleep, which you may not know about. That's why decreasing phone usage at night, decreasing overhead light usage at night may be very beneficial to changing your sleep and improving it. Now, there's other factors which you can do to improve your active state during the day, utilizing this circadian process. Number one is frequent eating hours. Eating breakfast at the same time every day, lunch at the same time, and dinner, or if you're what I was saying before it cut out, was eating at frequent times, if you're eating in an eating window, means eating at that exact same time every single day. Now, lots of you may be going, what the fuck? I didn't know the first thing. I don't know this. This is too much, and that's fine. You don't have to do everything. But even adding one of these things will improve your sleep. And then maybe you can add on stuff if you want to improve it even more, or you can just be happy with the gains you've made. That's fine. More information means you can do more stuff with your life, which is fucking awesome. Anyway, eating at a regular time will trigger your stomach acid, will trigger your enzymes, and allow for proper absorption during the day, rather than just having your food sitting in your stomach, preparing for some random time that you eat. This will allow you to achieve a more active state, especially after eating, and have less load in your stomach, while allowing your stomach to properly repair overnight and at other times of the day. Now, this has a major effect on your circadian rhythm, more importantly, as your first meal of the day triggers your liver clock as well as your other organs to begin their 24-hour cycle. This allows it to achieve a greater active state during the day. Now, this plays into your nighttime as well. If you're a sneaky nighttime eater, this active state will be triggered at night, which you don't want. especially if you're trying to get in the swing of having good sleeps at a regular schedule, eating right before bed will say to your brain, not only your brain, but your liver, oh shit, I've got to be active. When your liver and digestive tract take around 2 hours after the last meal to calm down and stop gut motility. So that goes into the factor, which you may have heard, that eating up until 2 hours before bed and then cutting it off 2 hours before bed will allow optimal digestion and gut motility and allow your gut to repair over that nighttime, not only making you feel better, but inhibiting fat gain and allowing more fat burning. Because as a result of regular eating windows, more of the nutrients are absorbed into the body and can be readily utilized straight away because they are properly digested, because there's a right amount of stomach acid and the right amount of gut motility enzymes to ensure all nutrients are absorbed and utilized straight away. Whereas eating at irregular windows, fragmented at random times throughout the day, will result in less of these enzymes being present, less stomach acid to break down the proper proteins and other nutrients, resulting in more fat gain because the nutrients are like, shit, we're not digested properly, so your body's like, crap, let's chuck them in the fat tissue, we can deal with them later. That, in my opinion, is one of the major reasons for that dip in energy after eating high carb meals and eating lunch and stuff like that, because of that irregular pattern and your gut not being ready for that food to come in. That's why I ensure I eat at regular eating windows, my first being 6 o'clock, my second being 12 o'clock, and my last being around 4 o'clock, which I cut off because I ate in a 10-hour eating window. But that's beyond the point. This is another state, another environmental factor to jumpstart that circadian rhythm, aiding in that light's ability to set that active state in the middle of the day and throughout the day to allow you to be on your fucking A game. So why wouldn't you want to change something like that in order to work most optimally, perform at your best, physically, mentally, and just cultivate better relationships in your life, be less anxious, have better mindset, stronger mind, be a fucking man. But a lot of people won't do this, and that's completely fine. I'm just giving you the information, do what you want with it. You don't have to live optimally if you don't want. Okay, another major factor which I want to touch on is surrounding your sleep. Now, I've talked about the daily active state throughout the day, the effect of diet, eating windows, light on your circadian rhythm. But now let's get to the real nitty-gritty stuff, which you may want to look at in this video, and maybe the reason you clicked on this video, which I hope you did. This is surrounding your sleep. So having a set circadian rhythm with an active start during the day means you also have a set circadian rhythm for the night to properly allow your body to rotate through all its functions, including sleep. Meaning you should feel tired around the same time every single night. Now this plays into Matthew Walker's 4 tips to staying properly and adequately slept throughout the night and to improve your sleep. What are these tips? Number 1, consistency. Consistency is one of the best ways to get your body in that circadian time. As I've talked to you before about diet being consistent, consistency in sleep schedule means your body knows exactly when to go to sleep and when to wind down. Having a consistent bedtime You may think, oh shit, that's just what my mum said when I was a little kid. But you found when you were that little kid, you always began to feel sleepy around that time. The same goes for adults. That's how your body works properly. Think of caveman days. All the tribes have studied in Africa. Everyone goes to bed around the same time, within a 30-minute window. Dr. Sachin Panda talks about this on Huberman Lab, when he went to live with those tribes. All these tribes and everyone go to sleep at the same time and wake just before sunrise to get optimal daylight exposure throughout the day and sleep throughout the entire night from around 9 o'clock, which, if you think about it, is when most people get tired, because that's the optimal style. And it, apart from the very few 1% who don't have the normal circadian rhythm, a majority of people need to be getting to bed around that 9 o'clock mark, a couple of hours after bedtime, to get an adequate sleep throughout the night and wake up in that proper cycle. But that's got a bit of my opinion in there. Don't take that as fucking gospel. Do as you want. I'm just giving you the information. Okay, so consistency, meal timing, increases your activity at that time, tells your body you're awake. Now, consistent bedtime tells your body when to go to sleep. This is important because 2 hours before that time, that's when your melatonin has to ramp up. Funny thing is, most people have overhead lights, which counteract this melatonin. So the melatonin tries to ramp up. Oh shit, there's light above me. We're going to calm down. Gets closer. Oh shit, still light above me. Gets close. Oh, you turn off the light to go to sleep at your consistent time. Oh, now the melatonin starts to kick on. You're restless for around 2 hours in bed, then you finally get to sleep. Oh shit, I need a melatonin supplement. I'll get into that later. Fucking shit for you. Turning off your lights, having a relatively dark house. I use candles because they give very low lux, while your overhead light gives high lux. As I talked to you before, your melanopsin receptors that recept this light are in the bottom of your eye. Key there, if it's above, like the sunlight, that triggers your melanopsin because it shines down into your eye. When light from below you, it doesn't hit those receptors. If you like having more light in your house and you can't bear to live in the dark, fair enough. I get you. But put your light sources facing towards the ground, below your eye level, so the light shines off the ground upwards and doesn't trigger those receptors as much. Obviously, some of it will, but that will reduce your exposure. Turn off as many overhead lights as you can. Have it relatively dimmer, especially when you're trying to go to sleep, within the hour before sleep. Candlelight, perfect, normally below your eye level, but it has very low lux and is relatively warm red light, on opposed to blue light, which a lot of white light contains. Actually, all white light contains. So it allows that melatonin to rise naturally with little effect. Think of your ancestors living in front of the fire, as well as those African tribes, which I mentioned, studied by people such as Dr. Sachin Panda, circadian research expert. Got a very good book, Circadian Code, recommend it. That light does not trigger your melatonin as much to be eradicated after triggering those melanopsin receptors, allowing your circadian rhythm to be set at that time you want. So I've touched on consistency. This is consistency of going to sleep, which is the most important one, as well as the consistency of wake. That allows having a set time that you both wake up and go to sleep. Preferably, you don't have an alarm when you wake up. Allows your body to go through the cycles that it would in a normal night during that set time with perfect knowledge that it's not going to be disrupted between that time. So it can cycle through it. Now, if you want to shorten it, it can actually improve the efficiency of it, because your body's like, shit, we need to be active in that site. We've only got a set time, we've got to do it. And they cycle through all those REM and deep sleep cycles much more fast with less light sleep. If you extend it too long, you may have too much light sleep and not enough REM sleep, because your body's like, I've got all the time in the world. So actually shortening your sleep time can improve efficiency. Still, you want to be getting adequate sleep time of, I like to say, just over 8 hours. If you're trying to perform at your most efficient level, 9 hours is your go. That is maximum efficiency, which Dr. Andy Galpin, who's an exercise physiologist and absolute mad lad, he recommends for all optimal athletes, because he works with a lot of them, that they get 9 hours of sleep to perform at your top level. But that may not be you. You may not have enough time to sleep. So getting 8 hours or over will ensure that you get adequate time. If you're struggling with sleep efficiency, cutting down that time, doing a couple of weeks of slightly underperforming groggy days to get that efficiency up can be beneficial in the long run. But it's up to you. So we'll touch on consistency. The second is efficiency, which I also just touched on. Efficiency is your levels of REM sleep, deep sleep and light sleep throughout the night. And getting adequate levels will ensure optimal function in your daily life, or allow you to perform your best in every area. Deep sleep, great for exercise recovery, cognition, all of that. Allows your memories to get transferred into the long-term stores. Same with REM sleep. REM sleep is very good for emotional regulation. So if you find yourself with massive emotional fluctuations, getting more REM sleep is beneficial for you, and that's normally at the later part of the night. REM sleep is the closest you get to being awake during sleep, with muscle stagnation or muscle paralysis, which prevents you from moving around in this state of absolute wired mental psychosis. This is when you dream, your REM sleep. And this, in my opinion, is your most important one that you want to maximize, because if you're getting maximal REM sleep, you should be also getting maximal deep sleep. Because REM sleep, I find, is the most affected, especially by stuff such as alcohol and THC. You want your emotions to be functioning good, especially in stressful times, or if you're living stressfully. Now, things that will affect efficiency is stress in the daily life. That's why there's been many studies on meditation, and seen it to improve sleep by dramatic numbers. And I've seen this in my own sleep. So has Dr. Matthew Walker, who talks about it on Chris Williams' podcast, Modern Wisdom. He talks about adding meditation to his schedule. Hardline scientist, thought it was bullshit hippie shit at the start, but realized it's actually got some beneficial. So shout out to all those hippies there. All the scientists are talking about grounding now. All the scientists are talking about meditation. Shit you cunts have been doing for years, as well as morning sunlight. So we're doing a whole holistic approach from this hardline pill-based medicine towards actually bettering the human body by merging this naturopathy and hardline evidence-based medicine, which is good, because we need to be focusing on optimal health outcomes for the people, and that's what I hope to do in the future when I get my MD. Okay, so we've talked about efficiency, getting those optimal stages throughout the night, and I've told you how to improve it through shortening your sleep for a short duration, which Dr. Andy Galpin, Dr. Matthew Walker all talk about. Feel free to search up more about that, and of course, get information from your doctor. I have to say that, I believe, legally. Otherwise, follow information and make your best decision on the information you have. Because that's what everyone has. You shouldn't rely on other people to make your decisions for you. You should take accountability of your own health. That's my rant out of the way. Number 3. So we've talked about efficiency and consistency. The next one is timing. Now, timing is very important and it's based on your circadian rhythm. I've talked about having set times to wake and sleep, but when should you set those times? Now, this should depend on what most people regard as your chronotype, late being later sleepers and early birds. I don't believe in this. I believe that people can set their circadian rhythms and shift them to daylight cycles, which is most beneficial because we should be living during the day and be most active during the day, while leave night to sleep because that's when we're meant to. That's when there's less light and it won't affect our sleep and we'll perform optimally. And that's also when schedules of daily life are normally revolve around the light cycle of the day. On this topic, I like to have mine a couple of hours after sunset. I do mine around 8:30, which may be way too early for people. That's fine. Do yours around 9 to 10. But this timing will ensure that adequate melatonin's built up. And you should be feeling sleepy around that time. That's when you know it's the best time to go to sleep, especially given your set times, which is cemented in. This timing will be important, and getting to bed on this time will ensure the consistency which your body needs to perform optimally and go through all those stages optimally. Now, we've talked about the timing, talked about efficiency, we've talked about consistency. Now, one thing I want to talk about now is duration. This is the one that most people love to say is the most important factor of sleep. The other ones, which I've already covered, have an equal, if not greater, effect on sleep. And that's been proven, but duration still matters. Duration is the time you actually fall asleep, not the time you've been in bed, to the time you wake up. And this duration should have not under 10 restless times per hour, which you can record in your sleep tracker, as well as only one awakening over 5 minutes to be a normal, healthy sleep. Now, you may be saying, shit, I wake up all the time and it's way longer than 5 minutes throughout the night. That's where the other factors you should be looking at. Also, big one, caffeine. Don't drink it late into the day. Half-life of 5 hours. If you drink it at midday, you could have a quarter, if not half. Half-life, actually 10 hours, my bad. Quarter life, 5 hours. You could have a quarter or half that caffeine you drank at lunchtime still in your system when you try and go to sleep. So drink it as early in the morning as you can to ensure the cycle works properly and you get that out of your system. Otherwise, it's going to affect your deep sleep, which you don't want. Okay, enough on that. Duration, over 8 hours. I've already said that. 9 hours if you want to perform optimally. And you want it to be as efficient as possible. Simple as that. I've already talked about all those factors. And that will improve your life, improve your recovery performance, and your health overall. And adding the circadian steps to ensure this regularity of cycle will allow your body to perform how it's meant to perform and increase your quality of life, which is all I want for you. and is my mission on this world. That's why I started this channel. For the 5 people watching right now, I hope you got something great out of this, and keep on learning, keep on researching, and keep on becoming better in your daily life. Thank you.